Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
Indeed, we continue to follow breaking news from Warren, where firefighters have rescued a driver after a semi-truck rolled right over onto his car. Topping our news here at 5, an army of firefighters and first responders spent more than an hour trying to get that driver out. This is I-696 near Mound Road.
Yeah, let's take a look again at the video from Sky 4 one more time. You can see the trailer completely crushed that Chevy Impala. Amazingly, though, the driver was pulled out and was moving as he was put on that stretcher. So let's get to Jason Colthorpe live in Warren tonight. Jason, you watched that rescue firsthand.
It was amazing, Kim, and that's really the only word I can use, and a lot of people using the same one. At 4 o'clock, we were kind of down on the road, giving you kind of a ground level of this. I want to give you a bird's eye view of just look at the track of this accident where it all happened, unfolded with this semi and a Chevy Impala. Now you're looking at where it came to rest. They've gotten the car out of there, but you're also looking at exactly what the load was that shifted on this driver that caused it to turn over. Those are metal or steel discs there that they're unloading there and throwing in that trailer. And all the people, since this happened, you can see people right here looking at this, hoping and praying as they just watched an horrific scene unfold.
We just heard a bunch of metal crunching.
That sound was a semi tipping over and crushing a Chevy Impala on the Mound Road exit from 696 East, and then sliding to a stop underneath the 11-mile road overpass.
The impact it shook our house, shook the ground, shook the fencing all the way down.
Somewhere the vehicle lost control, and it appears as though the load might have shifted, transferring the center of gravity, causing the truck to roll over onto the car that was in the lane next to it.
That's when the rescue began, as Warren firefighters worked frantically for almost an hour to free the driver trapped inside. People who live nearby were afraid of what the outcome would be given the scene. All right. But then,
that's the best ending to one of these stories I've ever seen.
I was amazed. I mean, by the look of the car, he should have been at least somewhat hurt. I'm not saying dead, but I mean, the way he came out waving at us when we were clapping, it was amazing. If you look at the car and the truck, it was completely amazing.
Yeah, a lot of people using that word. That driver was hurt but alert, and right now we're just hoping he's able to pull through at the hospital. Now, a lot of the people who live nearby say this happens all the time, and if you know this exit ramp, you know how tricky it is. It has two tight turns, one before this and then this one, as drivers who don't know it very well often have to jam on the brakes to try and get this under control. We don't know who's at fault yet. Police still investigating. They don't know if this was the semi-driver or if he was hit or cut off before all this happened, but we'll certainly be following this in the days to come. We're live in Warren tonight. Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
And the road was closed for quite a while. Looks like it's still closed there, Jason. Any word on when it might reopen?
They're making progress, or initially they were thinking an hour. Yeah. That would be in a few minutes it would be open, but that semi's still on its side. I would bet they're going to have a little bit more work to do to get that upright and out of here. So anybody thinking about it, I would bank on at least another hour, Kim.
Right, indeed. And again, miraculous job by all those rescue workers to get that man out. Yeah. Jason, thank you. Our top story tonight, Detroit police officers are holding a constant vigil right now at Beaumont Oakwood Hospital.
Exactly. That's where one of their own was taken after being shot in the back of the head last night in Southwest Detroit. Here's what we know at this hour. Chief James Craig says the officer's condition deteriorated overnight, and the 14-year veteran of the force is going to need now more surgery. Let's bring in Rod Maloney, who's live with the newest information that we've learned on the suspect in this case. Rod?
Yes, Devin, we just got his picture just a few moments ago. Let's take a look at 46-year-old James Edward Ray. He is the person that Detroit police shot last night in that shootout in the apartment complex. He came out of that apartment complex door with his gun raised and apparently shot one of the police officers in the forehead. They returned fire, and we are learning still more about this James Edward Ray. And here's what we know. The original call came in as a domestic dispute, but the man in that left the building long before police arrived. As the officers tried to get into the building and knocked on the door, Detroit Police Chief James Craig said security cameras show Ray setting out to shoot whomever was there.
As he left his apartment building with a gun, he was actually chambering around in his weapon. It was a .380 nickel-plated pistol.
A later search of his apartment yielded another .45 handgun and a shotgun. Neighbors today couldn't figure out how Ray wound up in the middle of a fatal police shooting.
He was a good guy, just the alcohol. Drinking affects your soul, you know what I'm saying? And that's what messed him up.
I will tell you it appeared that his gait leaving his apartment was somewhat unsteady.
Ray worked for the Hollingsworth Company, and it put out this statement this afternoon, quote, "We are saddened about the alleged involvement of a contract employee at our Romulus facility. This is a tragic situation, and our thoughts go out to the police officer, his family, and the Detroit Police Department. Many details are unknown at this time. We will work with the authorities as they continue their investigation," end quote.
If you think about the job our police officers are doing, it is not that there has been any pattern to this. It can be the most routine or the most dangerous of circumstances. They have to be prepared at all times.
Now, James Edward Ray was a contract employee, which means that he was employed by a temporary service and hired by the Hollingsworth Company. We want to be specific about that. As for the officer that is in the hospital here right now, clinging to life, he has had 2 surgeries already, one at 4 in the morning, one about 10 o'clock. And he, as we are told, has been deteriorating throughout the day, so there's considerable concern for him. And of course, the police and the mayor are asking for prayers for him and the entire police department. Back to you.
And Ron, I know you've been talking to the neighbors around there about why this might have happened in the first place.
Well, you know, they have a theory, and it has to do with fear and the belief that perhaps it wasn't police at the door. But we'll have more on that coming up on Local 4 News at 6.
All right, Rod, we will see you then. So how are Detroit police officers handling this string of attacks? We've got more from Rod here at 6, as he just mentioned. But ahead here at 5:30, we're going to hear from Steve Dolan, Detroit's former assistant chief, about the impact this has on morale and the toll that this very dangerous time has taken on officers. That's ahead at 5:30. All right, also breaking, we've got an intense manhunt that's underway right now in Dallas for a man who opened fire on a paramedic who was responding to an emergency call.
A civilian was also shot in all this. The gunman, still at large, is believed to have used a high-powered rifle. Dozens of police cars swarmed the area searching for the suspect. It's not clear if the paramedics were targeted. The wounded paramedic was rushed into surgery. He is reported to be in critical condition.
And also a busy day in Texas as we move down I-35. One person dead and several hurt after a stabbing at the University of Texas in Austin.
3 people hurt, have been taken to a hospital with potentially serious injuries. There are reports of additional patients with non-life-threatening injuries. Austin police say one person is in custody. Stick with Local 4 and click on Detroit.com for any new developments.
All right, we bring it back to Detroit, to a bombshell in court today. In the middle of his trial, Ike Smith, charged with a string of sexual assaults, brought the proceedings to an end by suddenly pleading guilty to all of the counts. For 4 days, accusers took the stand recounting in often gruesome detail what they say Ike Smith did to them.
And now it's all come to an end with Smith saying he's guilty. Let's get out to Steve Garagiola live. And Steve, you spoke to one of those accusers after the plea.
Yeah, you know, very brave women who stepped up to tell their stories in open court that led to this guilty plea today. I think it's important to emphasize this is not a plea deal from the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. This is a straight up guilty plea to all charges. So for the victims, this ends the ordeal of a long trial. Serial rapist Ike Smith faced at least 3 dozen charges in at least 5 different cities. One of the brave women he victimized talked with me afterwards today and explained what today's result gives her.
Hope that I'm going to be able to live again, that I'm going to become stronger, hope that the other victims are going to find healing.
Which comes with time. Often we casually speak of closure, as if this ordeal is over for the victims. In some ways, their journey toward wholeness is only just beginning.
He stole from me things that aren't tangible, things that you can't replace, you can't put your hands on, the things he took from me. Closure means it's over. This becomes part of you, and you have to grow through it, and you have to become a person who survived. And now because I survived, I am stronger. I can help other people.
She relived the ordeal in court and bravely shared her emotions today because in part she wants to reach out to other women facing the same challenge to reclaim their life.
This was not my fault, and it's not the fault of anyone who is a victim of that, but it's something that you struggle with. Like, so if I have the strength and I can do that, and that may give hope to somebody else, as a person, that's the least I can do.
Well, that takes a lot of courage, but she says she realizes there are many, many women out there who are facing the same ordeal, and she hopes this will help them find their strength. Sentencing set for May 25th. Of course, Ike Smith remains in custody. Back to you.
And Steve, you mentioned the sentencing. Any idea how much time he's facing?
Well, you know, that's actually an interesting question, because in pretrial, the prosecutor offered him a deal, a plea deal, 35 to 70 years to plead guilty to some lesser charges. He rejected that and said he'd go to trial. So now he pleads guilty. There were 9 cases bundled here, and he faces 14 to 21 years for each count of criminal sexual conduct. So we won't try to do the math here, but let's just say that adds up to a lot of years.
Yeah, he'll be there for a while. Okay, Steve, thanks.
Now to a Local 4 update this afternoon, as a Wayne State Sheriff's deputy appeared in court after being charged in connection with a deadly car crash. This is 36-year-old Matthew Doss. He is charged with reckless driving causing death after he hit a 56-year-old man. This was in October of last year. Today, though, Doss was in court for his arraignment. If he's convicted, he would face up to 15 years in prison. Police in one Michigan town putting out an alert after a very dangerous situation yesterday.
New tonight, what this man is accused of doing to 2 people that had them believing they were in big trouble with the law. Blaine?
On Capitol Hill today, lawmakers are juggling 2 major bills, but will they get the votes?
Rain is back in the winds. It picked up too. We're seeing wind gusts over 30 miles an hour in a couple spots, and the temperatures do not feel like May. More on that coming up.
20 workers say they were fired from a Macomb County plant after attending a Day Without Immigrants protest. What they say happened and how the employer is responding.
All right, Coco, and if you were just joining us, let's update you on the breaking news we've been following this afternoon in Warren. That's where firefighters have rescued a driver after a semi rolled onto his car. This was on I-696 right at Mound Road. That semi, in fact, still remains on its side. The eastbound 696 ramp to northbound Mound remains closed at this hour, but happy to say they were able to rescue the driver from what appeared to be a very pessimistic and desperate-looking situation. We'll keep following it for you. Keep it right here on Local 4.
New at 6.
A husband and wife mauled by their son's pit bull. This is in an incident that first responders are calling one of the worst animal attacks they've ever seen. At 6, the weapon police had to use on the dog just so rescuers could pull one of the victims out of the home.
Plus, a terrifying moment for a local sheriff's deputy, almost hit head-on by a suspected drunk driver. New at 6, you'll see the short chase followed this near miss.
All right, now to protests across the country today, including here in Detroit, recognizing May Day.
May Day, also referred to as International Workers' Day, is a day of action to protest for workers' rights all around the world.
This is video from Sky 4 over Clark Park just a short time ago. And as that happened, a group of workers fired from a Chesterfield Township business filed a lawsuit saying they were let go for participating in a similar protest.
Yeah, let's get to Coco McAvoy live. Coco, how many people are we talking about part of this lawsuit here?
Kimberly and Devin, the case involves 20 Hispanic workers who say they went to a demonstration similar to the one that's happening in Southwest Detroit right now, and they say they were told that they would be suspended for 1 week, but instead they were fired. They believe it's discrimination, while the employer says if you don't show up for work and you have no reason, you're fired. This case stems from the A Day Without Immigrants protest on February 16th.
We are united!
All 20 employees either marched or didn't show up for work that day.
If I or another worker wanted to miss a day of work at Easy Industries for going to opening day or for St. Patrick's Day, I would just be able to not show up to work, or I would just be able to tell the employer, hey, I'm not coming in today.
But the client's attorney, Tony Paris, says the 20 employees were fired, and the employer also threatened to get immigration authorities involved.
And told a worker that, why did you do this? How are you able to afford an attorney? The employer has attorneys who, the employer's looking forward to fighting this case because they will be able to use immigration services that way.
Easy Industrial Solutions' response to that?
They were very clearly told
before they did that, that they would be terminated.
Their attorney, Robert Boonin, says there was no discrimination involved and EZ had the right to fire the workers.
People may want to disagree as to what the appropriate punishment should have been, but they were certainly well within their legal right to do it.
The case has been filed with the National Labor Relations Board, which will determine how to proceed in this case. And the client's attorney says that this case is just one example of a number of labor disputes involving immigrants happening across the nation as we speak. Reporting live this afternoon, I'm Coco McAvoy, Local 4, back to you.
So, Coco, what has the labor board said so far, if anything? Have they been able to determine anything?
So as of right now, they haven't been able to determine anything, but I did speak with a member of the board, and they tell me that what they've been doing so far is they've interviewed a few of those workers. Some of those workers are undocumented, so they had to meet up with them in private locations, but they've also interviewed employees of that company, EZ, because they're trying to figure out what their protocol is when people normally call in sick or don't show up for work to determine if this was in fact discrimination in this case.
Yep. Okay, Coco, keep us posted. Thank you.
We bring in Ben, and we've had kind of a little bit of everything today. Started with rain, then we had some nice sun, it got warm, and now it's
windy.
All blowing in again. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? This is actually going to be our warmest day for the next 10.
It's May, come on.
Yeah. May 1st, can you believe it? And those high temperatures almost hit 70 degrees this afternoon. 68 is where we ended up in Metro. And now that the clouds have come back and the wind has picked up, 50 showing up, especially in our west zone where some of those showers have already started to get underway there in Livingston and Washtenaw County. 61 is the temperature that we've got right now at Metro Airport, but it is all going to be cooler as we go forward for the next 10 days. Looking back into April, since we closed the book on the month, look at this, 2017's second warmest April in Detroit history, and we only missed number one by 0.2 of a degree. 54.3 was the average temperature for the month. That's factoring in lows and highs together. That's why you see that number, but very close to seeing number one, which was 54.5. Plenty of showers on the west side of the state, and you can see they're in our west zone as we speak. Those are going to continue spreading across the area. This is mainly going to be in our west and north zones. Still going to see a couple sprinkles downtown. So if you're headed down to the Tigers game, keep that in mind. I don't think it's going to be enough to shut down the proceedings, but they will be seeing a couple of those hanging around. All this will continue to rotate through until about 10 o'clock tonight. That's when we'll see an end of the rain. Generally dry overnight, but then another round of rain coming through tomorrow morning. And once that exits about lunchtime, we get a bit of a break here midweek before we get another shot of rain. That's going to be coming in here as we finish the work week, mainly on Friday, but some of those showers could be in here as soon as Thursday late. Temperatures tonight down to 46 degrees. The showers returning. It is going to be breezy. We'll keep those gusts between 30 and 40 miles an hour here for the next few hours. High temperatures tomorrow, we'll call it 52 in the metro zone, and these are going to be the warmest numbers. And one of the only spots that's going to see the 50s, 51 in the city, 52 by the airport, and probably down around Lake Erie, we'll see the low 50s too. And then you get into the west side of the zone, 48 in Tecumseh, 49 in Adrian, all 40s north of Michigan Avenue in our west zone tomorrow, from 46 in Flint, except maybe sneaking out of 50 down there in Canton. And on the cool side in our north zone, all 40s there too, 46 in Marlette, 46 also in Yale, and 48 in Richmond. Macomb will be at 49 for high temperatures. High temperatures tomorrow. Get a little bit warmer Wednesday, but that 60 is as warm as we get for the next 7 days you see in the forecast, plus the other 3 that we've got on clickondetroit.com. Morning lows, 3 of those days are going to be in the 30s.
Yeah, hey there.
So, hope you didn't plant yet.
I might have. I might have a little something.
Said after Mother's Day.
I know, after Mother's Day. I know. I can't
We'll see if we can make some changes.
Okay, work on that, Ben. Ahead in good health, encouraging news in the battle against the most deadly form of skin cancer. Plus, see why experts are asking women to play a bigger role in detecting melanoma before it spreads.
But first, another big hit for the Detroit school principals caught up in the bribery scandal. What the Attorney General is making sure they don't get. Next.
Why should you?
8 former Detroit Public Schools principals convicted of accepting bribes are also saying goodbye to part of their pensions. The Attorney General, Bill Schuette, announced today the state will no longer pay pension contributions to the principals. It also means those who owe repayments will see their pensions reduced until full repayment is made. All 8 principals were convicted last year in a kickback scheme that totaled nearly $3 million. All right, across Michigan, following stories from all the way up in Mackinac Island and Three Rivers.
Yeah, but we want to start in Sparta Township. That's where police are searching for a man suspected of impersonating a police officer. Authorities say the man tried to arrest 2 people Sunday, telling the victims he was an officer. Police say the suspect was not carrying a weapon and did not hurt anyone. At this point, they don't know the man's identity. Take a good look there. An investigation is still underway. In Three Rivers, 2 people are facing charges for running a meth lab out of a van.
Yeah, police say they had been watching the van for days as part of an ongoing investigation. And on Friday, they finally approached the van and found an active meth lab, a number of bags of meth and marijuana as well. The 39-year-old driver and 34-year-old passenger were both arrested. Up on Mackinac Island, the famous Grand Hotel front porch has finally finished a big remodel job.
Anybody who's been up there to Mackinac Island has seen the 660-foot porch. It's the longest porch in the world and one of Mackinac's most well-known structures. Well, today, after nearly a year of remodeling, the porch has returned to its original wood, has a fresh coat of paint, and is now slip-proof for the winter. And despite the remodeling, the hotel's historian says the porch hasn't lost its classic look.
New at 5:30.
I know you can't tell by looking at it anymore, but this used to be the Detroit Animal Shelter here on the southwest side. Well, now it has come down, and there are big plans here. In fact, $5 million worth.
When a police officer gets shot, the emotional pain of it hits home for every cop on the force.
It's not supposed to happen. You're supposed to go home at night. When you tell your wife and your kids, see you in the morning, that's what you expect.
Former Assistant Chief Steve Dolan will help us understand just a little bit what every Detroit cop is going through today.
A father goes from one son's funeral to his other son's arraignment. The latest on a deadly fire and how one family is in total turmoil.
Grab your horn. Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5:30 starts now.
A house fire leaves a 17-year-old dead, and now his 20-year-old brother makes his first appearance in court, charged for being the one who prosecutors say set it. Other family members were also injured in the fire that broke out early Friday morning.
And today, 20-year-old Mark Maroki was in court to be formally charged with the crime. Jason Colthorpe was in the courtroom. Were they able to talk much about any kind of motive in all of this, Jason?
We heard briefly, Devin, of a family dispute, and that was from the prosecutor, but no one else would elaborate on that. What we do know is a father, this family's father, went from his youngest son's funeral this morning to his oldest son's arraignment.
Count 1, homicide, felony murder.
Mark Maroki arraigned today on 3 counts, including murder and arson in the death of his brother, 17-year-old Matthew Maroki.
This is clearly a senseless and a tragic death over a family dispute. I would indicate that at this time, until we know more, he is a threat to the community.
However, the prosecutor, defense counsel, nor Sterling Heights PD would say exactly what the family dispute was, only that evidence shows Maroki started a fire in the den.
There was some physical evidence at the scene that indicated the fire was purposely set, and then there were some incriminating statements that were made by the suspect.
Matt was trapped upstairs and died from smoke and soot in his lungs.
I don't think he gets it, Judge. It's like looking at a deer in headlights.
Maroki's attorney asked for and was granted a competency exam for his client. The boy's father, Laith Maroki Yaldo, who was injured in the fire, didn't speak publicly, but I'm told it's a devastating situation for the entire family.
Without a doubt, it is a tragedy. Obviously, as the police department and as a city, our thoughts and prayers go out to the family. But with that being said, obviously we have a job to do in law enforcement, and in this particular case, it's to, investigate the other family member, which is difficult to do, but unfortunately it has to be done.
Yeah, they do. And just to give you an idea of the layout of this house and how this fire went, police believe he started in the den, which is in the front of the house. and the bedroom of Matt was right above that den. And when he started it, the smoke immediately went up and incapacitated his younger brother. Reporting live tonight, Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
And Jason, a quick note here about the other family members that were injured in the fire.
His father, he's actually part of the charges are for injuring his father and his mother and some others. But as I talked to some people that are associated with the family today, they said, in their words, they're doing okay.
That's good to hear. All right, Jason.
Well, tonight, Detroit's former assistant police chief is weighing in on the emotional toll police shootings have on officers.
Because this has been just one in a string of many instances showing just how dangerous a police officer's job is day in and day out. Steve Garagiola caught up with someone who knows that so well, former DPD Assistant Chief Steve Dolant, and let's bring in Steve live. Steve, Dolant gave you some insight into what the force is going through right now at a time like this.
Yeah, you know, he really did. We wanted to learn about the emotion. What is it that Detroit cops are feeling today and feeling really every day? Because we talk about it, but we can't really understand it because the cops are the ones who take the 911 call. The cops are the ones that have to climb the stairs to a dark porch, to a house where they know there's some kind of violence happening. They don't know who's inside, but there's a good chance somebody's got a gun. And they're the ones that have to knock on the door. I asked Steve Dolant first today, what's the emotion when you get that phone call that an officer is down?
Unfortunately, we had that phone call quite a few times. It's hard. It's hard on you because you think what's going on. I get to the officers. It's hard on your family because you're leaving the house. And, you know, they're wondering, who is it?
7 Detroit police officers shooting since this past September. 5 of them within the past 2 months. Today, cops in Detroit carry a lot of emotion with them when that next shift starts.
You're more cautious, I guess, and you're more on edge. And you can't just call in and say, I'm not coming to work.
Assistant Chief Dolant retired just a couple of months ago after 31 years. He says a cop's family quietly carries the same emotional burden.
They're proud of the fact that you're the police and what you're doing, but they're also scared the whole time. Your whole family is. You're supposed to go home at night. When you tell your wife and your kids, see you in the morning, that's what you expect.
And what of the young officer who shot and killed the shooter last night? He will carry that with him forever.
He's been on the street for 4 months and gets involved in a fatal shooting, and it takes its toll. You know, he doesn't realize what happened yet. Everyone's going to say, hey, great job. You're a hero, you're a hero, you're a hero. And he's like, but I had to kill someone.
In the end, officers turn to their brothers and sisters in uniform who understand the pride and the pain.
Whether you're police officer, sheriff, state, federal, local, you realize there's that bond like they have in the military. It makes you proud, but stuff like this hurts you.
Yeah, this stuff hurts. Steve said ask a cop for a logical answer as to why they do what they do. They might be hard-pressed. They'll talk to you about pride and duty and making a difference, but sometimes it comes at a very steep cost. Reporting live in Detroit, I'm Steve Garagiola, Local 4.
As we're watching right now, it sure does, Steve. All right, let's get to some breaking news now. An update to a story we've been following out of Dallas. The mayor of Dallas has just confirmed that 2 bodies have been found inside a home, and among those 2 includes the person they suspect of shooting a paramedic earlier in the day. We'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, 1 person is dead and at least 6 others injured after a man opened fire Sunday during a pool party at an apartment complex in San Diego.
Yeah, authorities have identified the gunman as 49-year-old Peter Solis. They say Solis lived at the complex and was despondent over the end of a relationship. Witnesses say he was sitting near the pool, and when he was invited to join in the party, he took out a gun and just started shooting.
From the screams, you could hear that somebody or multiple people were hit. A lot of screaming, and I could see everybody on their balconies just yelling, just ducking down for cover.
Well, police moved in quickly, shooting and killing Solis. 2 of the victims remain in critical condition, but are expected to survive.
Capitol Hill today, lawmakers juggling 2 major bills and working toward a vote on both by the end of the week. Blaine Alexander explains now why both sides have agreed on a budget. Republicans hoping to wrangle enough votes to pass an Obama repeal and replace bill as well. Blair?
Well, Devin, on health care, Republicans say that they are close to a deal, but pre-existing conditions are proving to be a sticking point.
On Capitol Hill, it's a budget deal. Lawmakers overnight agreeing to a $1.2 trillion spending plan to keep the government funded through the end of September.
This is a down payment on border security. It's a down payment on his ability to rebuild the military.
The budget also includes a $25 billion increase in military spending, a win for the president, but also some losses, $1.5 billion for border security, half of what he requested, with no money for the wall. And the National Institutes of Health get a big boost that the president did not want.
We couldn't have our entire way on this.
On health care, Republicans predicting a possible vote this week.
There will not be a vote unless there are 216 votes for it. The worst thing that you could do is put up a bill and then watch it be defeated.
A major sticking point, coverage for pre-existing conditions. The president telling CBS News.
Pre-existing conditions are in the bill. And I mandated, I said it has to be.
But that mandate is not in the current bill, which allows states to opt out, a possible return to insurance practices before Obamacare.
Essentially charge deterrent pricing, extremely high rates, 3, 4, 5 times what the normal rate would be.
Today, the White House says it feels good about the bill's direction.
And on the spending bill, the fight over border wall funding is not over. It's just being pushed until the fall. That's when lawmakers will need to negotiate another spending bill for the next fiscal year. In Washington, Blaine Alexander, Local 4.
All right, Blaine, one other political note. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer said that he is not aware of any current plans for Deputy Assistant to the President Sebastian Gorka to leave his job. That's despite reports from a number of media outlets that the controversial counterterrorism advisor would be shifted out of that role.
It was a historic rocket launch this morning for SpaceX. There she goes. At 7:15 Eastern Time, the company launched a Falcon 9 rocket carrying a spy satellite into orbit. It marks the first time SpaceX has executed a contract with the U.S. government. About 9 minutes after takeoff, the rocket landed gently on a landing pad on Florida's Space Coast. Pretty cool.
Yeah, sure is. Always
Yeah.
watch that. It's mind-boggling. All right, now to good health. Dermatologists have dubbed today Melanoma Monday, an effort to raise awareness about the most deadly form of skin cancer.
But for the first time in decades, there is progress to report in the fight against this killer.
When I went this week, they didn't find any cancer at all. So.
Jimmy Carter is the most famous patient to benefit from a new class of drugs, but medications like Keytruda are giving hope to many others battling melanoma.
These immunotherapies, these therapies that increase the immune system's strength, if you will, they basically unblind the immune system and they go after the tumor anywhere the tumor may be.
Dr. Brian Gassman says while new drugs have helped extend survival for some, better biopsy techniques and improved surgical accuracy have helped too. Melanoma is most treatable when it's found early before it spreads to other parts of the body. Be on the lookout for moles that are asymmetrical or that have irregular borders instead of smooth edges. Being more than one color is also a red flag, and so is a diameter bigger than the size of a pencil eraser. Finally, look for any moles that are evolving or changing. To reduce your risk of skin cancer, protect your skin from the sun even when you aren't heading to the pool.
Let's say you work in an office or a storefront. You're near a window. You're driving a lot. You're near a window. You're outside, but you're covered up. The problem is your clothes don't have UV protection. Those are times where you may be letting yourself get at risk, and you could prevent that.
And research finds women are 9 times more likely than men to spot melanoma on another person's skin. Experts are urging women to keep a close eye on their own skin and their partner's skin to help detect any problems early on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A dispute in Hollywood could halt production of some of your favorite TV shows.
Ahead here at 5:30, what both sides are saying is work there is set to come to a standstill.
Also, a California town not happy about all the rain, even after a drought that went on for years. What's happened there that's leading to very real concerns about the water supply? Nick?
I know it looks like just a pile of twisted metal and rubble. Well, that's because it is. However, there is excitement here as well because of what's to come.
The community is very excited about having the concerts here, the amphitheater to look at different maybe movies, just bringing families together.
The big plans for a big riverfront park on the southwest side of Detroit and why residents, frankly, are ecstatic.
Jeopardy! New tomorrow at 6.
So I could have bled to death. But he saved my life.
One hero giving thanks for another. We're hearing from the young man badly injured while trying to help others alongside I-96.
Plus, what's the first letter of your blood type? New at 6, why those with an O appear to have a different risk level for heart attacks.
All right, now here at 5:30 all day today, demolition crews have been tearing down an old Detroit building. It's the Detroit Animal Shelter on Jefferson near the Detroit River.
It's all part of a huge revitalization of Riverside Park, and as Nick Monticelli shows us, it's only one piece of a much larger puzzle.
You can either look at this as a pile of rubble that was demolished, the building, or you can look at it as a new beginning. Well, the crowd of people that showed up here to watch this building come down say that's exactly what it is, and that is exactly what Detroit needs.
We're all excited. We're all waiting, to see what's going to happen, how soon can open, to have the vendors here, to be able to have a festival atmosphere again. It's going to be wonderful.
It's not often that excitement fills the air. At the same time, dust does. But those like Ninfa Cancel in Southwest Detroit say demolishing the old Detroit Animal Shelter on Jefferson makes way for something much better.
It's symbolic in a way that it's part of history, but sometimes history, we need to move forward, and sometimes history is something that needs to, go away for us to be able to have a future.
That future is this. River Park is getting a $5 million makeover and expansion. It will include ball fields, soccer fields, basketball courts, a sledding hill, playgrounds, even an amphitheater for concerts or movies. And taking down this building gives them 4 more acres for a dog park and a skate park.
We've had 70 skaters from the community working with us on designing of the skate park, and they're very excited about it. And they think this is going to be not only nationally renowned, but probably internationally as well, too.
Brad Dick, the director of Detroit's General Services, says tearing down this building took all day, and then cleaning it up will take another. Construction of this section of the park will start later this year.
After we're due for bankruptcy, I think people need to see that there are things happening. People like to recreate. People want to be along the water. People like park space.
The community is very excited about having the concerts here, the amphitheater to look at different maybe movies, just bringing families together.
At Riverside Park, Nick Monticelli, Local 4.